Hi, my name is Mei from Good Story Chinese Translation. We have recently given a talk on why we use machine translation. So in this presentation, I'm going to use MemoQ as an example to show you how to use machine translation. Now, I have a document here that is in English. It has the different fonts and different colors, and it has a link of a website in it, and it has a photo. So if we want to translate this document into through MemoQ, how do we do it? So first of all, you would like to clean your documents to make sure you have deleted any names of people or entity. If you are going to enable the web-based plugin or cloud translation plugins in your software. So what I usually do is, for example, if I want to upload my translation through that plugin, but when in doing so, if I don't pre-clean my source document, that the names would be uploaded as well, and I do not want that. So what I do is I go to review and track change, and I deleted this person's name. I can either delete it like that, or I can, if there are a lot of these names, I can just simply use the replace function, so that later on I can replace it back instead of having to insert them individually. So what I do is, for example, I will replace Chen with MC so that it's intuitive, and when I'm doing the translation inside MemoQ, when I see MC, I know that I'm referring to this person. So it just make it easier for you to understand the full sentence after the amendment. So if I go replace all, yes, searching, yes, okay, all done. So now I close it, and I will then save this document as a tracked document. And the reason I have saved it as a tracked change document is so that if you have a large document, you can come back and look at those changes to make sure that you have put back whatever you have deleted or have changed. And so once I have generated the track change document, I am going to accept all changes and stop tracking. So now I have a clean document, and I will save it as the same name, but I'll say it's clean. So this is the document I'm going to import into MemoQ and translate using cloud-based translation plugin. So now I close this document, and now let's go into MemoQ. So first of all, I will try to machines sometimes they don't always do what you want it to do, but it's okay. I will restart the reload the translation software again. Okay, we're back. Now I have restarted the MemoQ translation software, and I'll go new project, and I would say give it a name, say MemoQ demo, and I select a language. Okay, it's told me that I already used this name before, so let's demo video, and then I choose the source language as English and the target language as Chinese, PRC, and next. Now I'm going to press import to import my source document, which I showed you guys earlier. Let's go to the folder, and remember we want to import the clean copy that has have sensitive names deleted, which will be put back later. As you can see, the machine has finished importing the document, and now we press, and then it shows that import OK. So now we close it, and so you can see that that is the document being imported from my desktop folder, and then I go next. So here is where I choose my translation memory. Translation memories is the place where I store all my past translation segments that I have done and I have checked, and they're of a high quality. So I choose, I have, if you haven't got a translation memory, say you are starting from start, from fresh, so you go create new translation memory, and then you just give it a name, TM stand for translation memory, TM demo, and then you choose the language, and then at the folder you save it. It's the default folder in the program, data folder in your C drive, and then you go OK, and then you can see that it's already being created, and then you can tick that box. But for today's demo, I'm not going to use this new translation TM, because I want to show you, by choosing my existing English to Chinese general translation memory, so that I can show you how I can utilize my existing translation segments in that memory. And you can choose more than one translation memory. In that case, the first one will be the one that all the translation segments will be saved into at the end of your translation session once you click confirm translation. And the second one would be like used as a reference. You can access it. Translation, similar translations would come up in a window on the right, but you do not save your current translation segments into that translation memory. So we call the first one as the primary translation memory, and second one as a secondary one. So if say I use the one that we have created earlier as a secondary, for example, and then I go next, and then that's where you choose your term base. Term base is where you store your terminologies. If you're doing a lot of scientific translation, then you may have a lot of data in there. for me, I have not been using a lot of terms, and therefore I do not have a lot of data in it. So once I choose it, term base, and then I go finish. And now you can see that our document is in here, and it's showing its version 1.0. There's 31 words in it, and the progress for the translator, T for translator, is 0, so we haven't started yet. So, and then the other ones, R for the reviewer, and the other R, I think, is for the final, probably the project manager. So I double click this document, and then you can see that the articles has been broken down into segments. So this is one sentence per segment for 1, 2, 3, but the last sentence has been broken into 2 segments because it has a semicolon. So if you prefer it to be in one segment for any reason, or you think the machine has split it up incorrectly, you can always right click and press join to join them together, or you can put the cursor where you want to split. For example, if you think they should be in 2 segments, then you place the cursor where you want to split, and then you go right click your mouse and split, and then it will become 2 segments. So now I'm going to show you the pre-translate function, but before that I just want to show you in general that the interface. So on the left you have your segments, the source text on top, and the target text at the bottom once you start translation. And you can also set them into left and right. I prefer top and bottom because then I can type a long sentence, and it all show in one row. And you can see on the right it's already showing me that the similar sentence in my translation memory, and therefore all I need to do is to double click it, and then it becomes my sentence, and then I can edit it as I like. But there is an even quicker way than clicking each individual segments and leverage it against your translation memory or Google Translation. What you do is you go to preparation. Under preparation you have pre-translate. So if I click pre-translate, say now I'm working from home and therefore I got Wi-Fi access, I'll do pre-translate, and now it has been completed. And then later on, when I hop onto the train and I don't have Wi-Fi, and therefore I can go through my translations segments, and edit them when I'm outside. So it's really a time-saving function. So now you can see that we have found 4 segments that have a similar sentence in it, so because I have pre-translated this text in the past, that's why it's identical, showing 100% the same. But if say for some reason they are not at the texts are not in the right place. For example, if say this is Word, what I have here and the text, hyperlink text, are not yet in the same right place, then I have to move the text around. So the text, this text, you can see hyperlink RPR. So these texts are for to tell the article later on when it's being exported back into a Word format again, that this is a link. Whatever is inside this tag is a link. to a website. So try to keep all these texts at the corresponding place in your target translation. And then once you finish editing it, you can click Control Enter. That would confirm the translation, and then the translation will be saved in your translation memory, which will be the primary translation memory, not the secondary one. Remember, we said the secondary one is just for reference. And so whatever translation that you have done in this article, you can access them in your translation, will be saved in your translation memory. And then in the future, when you're translating another article, you can leverage them, and all this translation will come up if they're found to be similar to your new source text. So now I have, when I click here, I found that right, I do have a a translation. I think this is probably from could be from Google Translation, because sometimes Google Translation take a little bit longer for it to be populated. So that's why it did not show up at the beginning. So say if I'm happy with this translation, remember MC here is the person's name that we have cleaned due to confidentiality. So here it shows that it's only 76% similar to our source text, and it has only the suggested segment only says help us build a fairer, safer, and more inclusive society, but it hasn't got the second part of the sentence. So what I do is I scroll down and see whether there are any other suggestions, and off we go. Number 4 is actually a Google Translation suggestion, which has translated this part as well. And the first 3 are my own past translations. So here, as we can see, that we want to keep the font similar, so I would make it bold as well. And now I can Control Enter and then move to the next segment, and so on and so forth. So now I have finished translating. There's one more thing I want to show you, and that is where you set up a Google translation plugin or other translation database plugin you want to use. So it's under this little clock thing, it's options, and then if you go under machine translation, and then you can see that I have enabled this plugin. And when you are starting, you will have to go to option, and you have to put in an API key so that Google would charge you accordingly. The fee that Google would charge is really low. For using their database, I get charged about a couple of dollars per month if I'm doing a lot of work. So you say, so I will have another presentation that shows you how to obtain the API key so that you can paste into your software under machine translation. Say okay here, and then you can see that there are the machine translation plugins you can choose, such as Cross-Link Gateway, IP Translator, iTranslate 4, and so on, and Microsoft MT plugin, and MemoQ got a pseudo translation plugin as well. So depending on your language as well, so you can choose multiple plugins at the same time. So okay, so now I'm ready to export my document. So I go back to the home screen. I just want to show you briefly what the home screen banners on the right, on the left are. So you have translation, that's what we have been using so far. But MemoQ also have other functionalities, such as live docs, and that you can utilize reference documents, bilingual documents, and translation memory. That's where your translation memories are, stored, and that's where your term base is stored, and it shows it has been ticked. And then you have setting. So setting is where those clocks are, where you can choose and to enable the various functions, including machine translation. So most of the time you'll be in the translation window. And so if I click this document, right click and export to store path, and it has told me that it has been completed successfully. And now the software is opening up the output automatically. And so that's my output document. As you can see, that all the fonts and even the website links has been maintained. And remember, we would like to put back what we deleted during the initial cleaning. So what I'll do is, I make it smaller, and then I go back to my track change files. That is track. And from there I can compare, and then I can put my text back. So Chen, and then I can save it as my final copy. And so as you can see that this is a very handy tool to use. And so this is just a demo of the basic functionalities of MemoQ. These are the functions you usually use as a translator. And there are online tutorials from the QGrade website that you can go in and learn more about the other functions of MemoQ. And please do so. And if you have any difficulties, they also have an online forum that you can ask questions. You can also ask questions in prose, one of the American translator website. I have found a lot of useful information there too when I started using MemoQ. And so thank you for listening to the presentation. I hope you have learned something new today. And please try it, and you will find that it's so much easy and intuitive. And once you are familiar with the functions, your efficiency in translation will be doubled. Again, my name is May. I'm from Good Story Chinese Translation, and thank you for listening to our presentation. And there are similar presentations online that you can feel free to browse.